You know, a lot of people ask me what kind of strings I use. In fact, that's one of the main questions I get. I've been using GHS strings for over 20 years. This is not a commercial, that's just what I use. But you can call it a commercial if you want to. They've been real good to me. Russ and Connie McPhee, the McPhee family, are just a model family anyway. They're just wonderful people. Been in the music business for a long time, and they make great strings. This is a signature set of strings for steel string guitar, acoustic guitar, that is. And these are phosphor bronze, and this is me. This is my signature strings. This was one of my model tailors, the first orange one. I finally talked them into making an orange guitar, and they did. And it was called the Desert Rose, and we use that for the cover here, and there's a photo of me on the inside. But I've really enjoyed using these. And what I did basically was take gauges of strings to use for the B benders and the things like that, the licks that I do. And I still like a lot of thump on the bass. And this is a longer scale guitar. I think it's 25.4. And if you have a short scale guitar, you may want to use a larger or a heavier gauge. But these are 11.5, 15, 22, 30, 42, and 54. And so I'll be showing you how I change strings. When you do the B-bender lick especially, you have to change strings the right way or they'll hurt you. I don't care how big you are, you're going to cry like a girl, pardon the expression. But they hurt, and I've had little pieces of string stick in my fingers while I was playing, and I'd do a little quick bend and come down here, and boom, I just pushed right into it. I had to quit playing a couple of times and pulled the string out of the end of my finger. War stories here, I guess. I also have a set of strings that we came out with a number of years ago for GHS. And these are classical for you guys that play nylon string guitars. These are classical strings. And the third string is wound, so it's a silver wound. And the first two are stone ground, so they're like a satin finish. So you can do pull-offs easier. Again, I'm not a purist. I love the acoustic guitar, but I'm not a purist classical player or a steel string player. And so whatever works, but these seem to work really well. And we went over a lot of ideas, but this is what I felt like was the best for my style of playing, and a lot of guys play my style. And so these are the Doyle Dykes signature strings for nylon by GHS, and you can get them at your dealer or go to their website, GHS Strings. I also use a thumb pick made by Fred Kelly. There are different ones, different models that they have. He makes the shank on mine a little longer. And if Holly were here, I could ask her, but as far as I know, we still offer these on our website as well, or you can go to Fred Kelly. Now, I've been using these picks since the 80s, like 81 or 82, somewhere in there. And they were so rare you could hardly find them. And I would use one or two. I'd have like two in a year. And so now he makes them for me. This is one that says, I think, The Lights of Marfa, because they gave these away at our book when we released our book at the Country Music Hall of Fame. But I love these picks. They work really, really well. Fred Kelly in Grayling, Michigan. And also the GHS Strings are in Battle Creek, Michigan. Gibson Guitars used to be made in Michigan. There's a lot of guitar people still up there. When I change strings, I always polish my guitar. I mean, unless I'm in such a hurry that I can't, and I still have to wipe it off. I just like to keep it clean. And I use, well, this is something that Fender had in one of my guitar cases. I usually refill them, but they're so small, I like these little bottles. And I just fill them up with car wax and just the instant turtle wax. And that's what I fill them up with. And so you just give it a good shine and polish, and sometimes just a little bit of water, just dampen the rag. In fact, you can get these rags like cloths, polishing cloths like this. I actually got these actually from a hotel, I think, but I didn't rip them off. If you go to the front desk, you say, do you have any older washcloths or something I can have for polished cloths for my guitar? And they'll give them to you. And it's just something from being a road dog all these years. So I always polish my guitar. Keep it clean. It's very, very important. Don't let things get gummed up on your guitar. And some guys still like to use lemon oil. Sometimes I've used anointing oil that I had in my Bible case, or something that I use it on there. But some kind of oil on your fretboard every few months it would be great. And I also put a little polish on there too, and just make sure it's clean. Every time I change strings, now these are golf score pencils, you can get them from Staples or whatever, from the office place. And I always put a little bit of graphite, and this keeps the string that lubricated actually. And of course I knowing James Olson, this is probably, 50,000-year-old mastodon bone here. That's what this actually is on the Kirk Sand. By the way, this is a Kirk Sand guitar. This is my nylon string guitar, and made by Kirk Sand. And at another time, we'll talk more about that and play some on the sand guitar. But I do the same thing on my nylon strings guitars as I do the steel string, and just put some pencil lead in here to keep that lubricated, because when you do the string bends and also alternate tunings, the strings go back and forth. And so it's just very important. Now, the reason I'm doing this today is when you're doing those string bends, it's very important that you don't cut yourself, but also it's important that you put strings on the correct way so your guitar will stay in tune. I'm sorry, I don't want to put nylon strings on my steel string guitar. Sorry about that. But we'll start off. I usually do, a lot of times I usually always take all of the strings off my guitar, and I put all the pins in a row on the bed in the hotel, usually is where I'm at, or at home in my guitar room. And there's a little couch there, and I just put them all together. And I keep them the same. I like to keep them in a row, like the little peg that goes in the first string, and I like to keep it in there. Now, the way James Olson makes his, he makes them all pretty much the same size, I believe is what he told me. But a lot of the guitars are not that way, or else I think he said that, so it doesn't matter as much. But I like to keep them in order, and that way they remember better, and I think they stay in tune better. Little tricks like this really helps. Now, I usually start at the top of the guitar, so in this case, it'll be the third string. And the way I'm doing this, of course, I always just get the little peg here and make sure the slot is in line with the string. That's important. And push it all the way down in there and pull the string at the same time. And boy, hear how resonant this guitar is. And then I always just do it sitting down. Everybody says, every time I go to a music store, you want to use our guitar bench? I'm terrible with guitar benches. But what I like to do is put my string on the outside like this, and I always use my left hand to keep tension on the string. And I usually let it bend right around in the middle of the headstock. And that's all the play I like. Make the string go out to the side, and now watch this. Over the top, over the post like that, and then under, and then pull it, and there's a little loop that happens when you do that. And always keep tension on that string. And it's a little bit awkward here, Adam. Let me... Now see what I do is I keep tension on the string here, push that down, I push it down towards the headstock, and then I'll just take my little string winder, and that way they stay uniform and in line, and keep tension on that string. Don't let it get too loose, and put it in, of course, like this. And there are guys that are better at this than I am, but I typically change my own strings everywhere I go, and I pull it just a little bit. Now watch this. This is a trick you don't see too many guys do. And it took me years to get the confidence to do this. But what I do is just, I don't cut my strings off with the pliers or anything. I just twist it off like that. And then you don't have anything here to stick you. How did I know to do that? It was just a mistake. They would break, and I'm going, oh no, what am I going to do? I hope it doesn't come off. They never did, ever, never. And I thought, I'm just going to do them all that way. And that took a lot of guts. Never had one come off, ever, not to this day. I've been doing this for many years. And the next string, of course, be the B string. And I do it the same way, the same thing. And of course, on the other side of the headstock, you come out on this side, but it's the same way. You still go over and under. Line this up. Make sure this is lined up good. Like this. Push it all the way in. And here we go. Now I hope I can see this. There you go. His mercy and grace is always sufficient. Here we go. Same thing. Right about the middle of the headstock. Go out to the side. Over the top. And under. Over and under. And like that. And then keep that pressure on that string. And what I do with this one is I put it under because I want a little more lift on that string. I want it to be as high as it can be on that post. And I tried that out a few times before I got the guts to. But it works. And there you go. Just pull it while you're doing that. And then you're done. And there's nothing there to cut you or to hurt you. Now watch it go, ping. And then I can do the third or the first string. Here we go. So when you change your strings right before a show sometime, I also like to pull them somewhat, and I'll show you how to do that. But people say all the time, well, how do you just change your strings right before the show? I've done it for years. I do it all the time. And I'm not afraid to do it. I typically enjoy changing my strings the morning of is always a good time. Like if I'm in a hotel and before I leave the hotel, I'll try to change my strings before I leave. That's always good. Or sometimes the night before if I'm going out of town the next day. And again, here we go. Over the top like that and then under. And pull it like that. Keep this down. People ask me about my nails too all the time. And I use acrylic nails on these three. And I have a nail lady right here in Cleveland, Tennessee. And her name is Sandy Renner. And she's doing a real good job. I've had some really great nail people in my career. And they usually stick around for a while. And then most of the best ones, or the ones that I've had before and used for years, moved out of town. And then the Lord provided the right one and just twist it like that. And that's it. And with the thumb pick and with your strings like this, now, I have not listened to the fourth string. Let's see where to. Pretty close, huh? You know. Now, what I do is I pull it not real hard, but just get a little pull on that and push these down again. Make sure they're in there good. And I usually like to get this one. So there you go, string changing and all. Now when you do the B bender, you won't get stuck. You won't stick yourself. Well, I hope you've been enjoying these guitar lessons, and you keep playing and keep that dream alive, and go out and play for people. People ask me all the time, how do I get to the next level? You go out and play for people. Don't just play in your living room or your bedroom. Go out and use it. As an old preacher I heard say, use it or lose it. Well, I don't know about that, but I can tell you one thing, it'll sure help you, and it'll bless some other people too. God bless you guys. Have fun.